Now, live, CBS3 Eyewitness News at 4.
The final farewell for Gerald Ford, is the 38th president, is buried in his hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Family and friends attended a last emotional church service. Good afternoon, I'm Angela Russell.
And I'm Larry Menti. Mark Howard is off today. There were tears and memories for the man described by friends and political adversaries alike as decent and a healer. CBS correspondent Manuel Gallegos has our report.
After nearly a week of public farewells, President Gerald Ford's burial is a private one. On a hillside overlooking the Ford Museum, those who knew the 38th president best will say their goodbyes. The burial follows a final church service at Grace Episcopal, where invitations-only guests, including the Carters, the Cheneys, and the Rumsfelds, filled the pews.
Our country generally seems blessed to find the right leader at the right time. Through that special providence, the Times found Gerald Ford.
Earlier in the day, 3,000 people an hour streamed past the president's flag-draped casket inside the Ford Museum. The doors stood open all night for the public to pay their respects to Michigan's only U.S. president. The turnout to pay tribute to President Ford was impressive. Some people waited hours on end in the cold to have a chance to go in the museum. In the end, more than 60,000 turned up.
He always felt that this was his home. You know, even though he was in Washington most of his life, this was still his home.
Among the crowds, Boy Scout troops to honor the only Eagle Scout to serve in the Oval Office.
He played golf and he played football, and he was 93 when he died.
To some, he was a simple man with common interests. To others, a leader who healed the nation during one of the most troubling times.
Manuel Gallegos, CBS3 Eyewitness News.
An inspiration.
And the ceremony surrounding the burial of Gerald Ford continues at this very moment. We're going to go to live coverage in just a couple of minutes, led by Katie Couric. And if you want to hear more about Gerald Ford and the day's events and his history, you can go to our website and to see a special slideshow on the life of our 38th president. And you can also there get more information about him and the funeral. Just go to CBS3.com.
Now to a developing story, a deadly school shooting in Washington State. A student is under arrest accused of gunning down a classmate in a hallway. It happened at Foss High School in Tacoma. The shooting took place as classes were about to start on the first day back from winter break. The school went into lockdown moments after the chaos.
Santini was shot to death last night in a confrontation with sheriff's deputies.
I just miss my cousin, and he was like a brother to me, and I miss him a lot.
Deputy acted appropriately.
The sheriff had outstanding warrants alleging terroristic threats and carrying an unlicensed firearm while on parole. Wearing shirts clearly showing they were sheriff's deputies, 4 officers found the young man in a car on Franklin Street. Officials tell us the team found Santini, ordered him out of his car, but he floored it right into Deputy Aaron Ogden, who bounced onto the hood.
Suspect accelerated quickly, moving the steering wheel from left to right, trying to shake our deputy off. He told him to stop.
The sheriff was constantly yelling to try to get him to stop the vehicle. Certainly he was in fear for his well-being and fear of his life. He then withdrew. He drew his weapon, and after no other recourse to do, he fired 1 shot through the windshield.
The young man was shot once in the chest. The deputy was taken on to Reading Hospital, where the trauma specialist treated a serious ankle injury, but he had survived a night serving warrants in Reading. Dick Standish, CBS3 Eyewitness News.
Still ahead on Eyewitness News, royalty comes to the Delaware Valley.
Charles and Camilla are planning a visit to Philadelphia. The royal details next.
Flight to catch. This is going to be close. Hope that blue route's clear.
Well, it's not, but I have an alternate. Come on, I'll get you there on time. Jump off here at St. David's, follow 320, and you're on your way.
Get Bob on board and get there faster. CBS 3, tomorrow morning, 5 to 7 a.m.
When it's prostate cancer, how do you decide on a treatment? Fox Chase Cancer Center has all the options all in one place. Our expert doctors guide you in choosing the treatment that's best for you. State-of-the-art surgery, including Da Vinci robotic surgery for faster recovery. the largest, most experienced IMRT program, or brachytherapy. For the best options in prostate cancer treatment and prevention, choose Fox Chase. Call 1-888-FOX-CHASE.
Mom, these are awesome. You used to fit into these?
Total, 100 calories to help you lose weight. 100% whole grain to help keep your shape.
Hey, sweetie, I want those back.
Totally manage your weight. Try more great flavors from Total. They're totally delicious.
Our loved ones in nursing homes should not suffer or live in fear. Abuse and neglect in nursing homes should not happen. But if it does, those responsible must be held accountable. Don't feel guilty. Get information. If your loved one has been the victim of abuse or neglect, call the lawyers at 1-800-LUNDY-LAW. That's 1-800-LUNDY-LAW.
At Rooms Today, thousands of new home furnishings are on their way, and the savings have never been greater during our big January sale. Through Sunday, you can enjoy this cheery microfiber sofa and chair for just $8.99, or pay just $8.99 for this classic two-piece sofa love seat and save over $800. Save on fine furniture for every room with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 6 months, and no minimum purchase. Make way for savings during the January sale at Rooms Today. Your furniture, your way.
Next, E.T. Donald Trump versus Rosie. Again, his explosive new words. Then the first celebrity divorce of the year. Our one-on-one with Oprah. And Sybil Shepherd's makeover. The amazing before and after. Next, E.T.
Tonight at 7 on CBS3.
An Iraqi official who reportedly took this videotape of Saddam Hussein's execution on a cell phone camera and then leaked it to the press is under arrest. The video shows the deposed leader being taunted in his final moments. Some Sunnis now believe that Saddam's death was a sectarian lynching by the Shiite-led government rather than a legitimate execution. Meantime, religious broadcaster Pat Robertson says that God told him there will be a horrible terrorist attack on major cities, perhaps in the U.S., in the second half of this year. Robertson predicted the attacks will cause mass chaos and kill millions of people. On his TV program, Robertson said, quote, "The Lord didn't say nuclear, but I do believe it will be something like that," end quote. Traditionally, Robertson usually makes predictions at the start of each year.
President Bush welcomes the new Congress to Washington as Democrats prepare to take charge of Capitol Hill starting tomorrow.
I'm hopeful that Republicans and Democrats can find common ground to serve our folks, to do our jobs, to be constructive for our country.
The president also proposed to balance the federal budget by 2012 and called on Congress to sharply cut back on costly pet projects hidden in spending bills. Prince Charles and his wife Camilla are coming to Philadelphia. The Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall will visit Philadelphia and New York on January 27th and 28th. The Prince is being honored for his environmental work. He'll receive the Harvard Club's Globe Environmental Citizen Award from last year's recipient, Al Gore.
What would they think of this weather?
This weather's pretty nice. I mean, it's incredible that it's like this, but the big thing is this weekend coming up, because Kathy Ewer doesn't want Eagles fans and Mummers mad at her at the same time. That is a scary bunch.
One is bad enough.
Yes.
Yeah. 2, you leave town.
That's right.
You don't want that to happen. It looks like we are going to have a pretty decent weekend. There is one fly in the ointment, and that is a storm that right now is to the south. We'll talk about that. But first, check it outside where they were making snow last night and early this morning because it was cold this morning, waking up to temperatures in the 20s and some 30s. Looking live at Jack Frost, Big Boulder in the Poconos. In the city, looking pretty this evening as we see the sun getting lower in the sky. The good news is the days are getting longer. Sunset at about 4:50 this evening. And down the shore, a beautiful day with highs in the 50s today. Lots of blue sky as we look out of our Harris Camp.
All right, so when hearing the term bull ride, it brings up the image of a rodeo out west. That really changed today. 5 New York City cabs were decorated to look like bulls as part of a promotion for a bull riding event. And if you're brave enough to hail a cab that looks like a cow on wheels in New York City, you got a free ride today.
All right, any bull in traffic? I don't know.
Wow. Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, right into that one. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a Wednesday, and we got some sun glare. Come on, let's go right outside and check the jam cams, the sunny jam cams. This is a live look at I-95 in Delaware County. You can see the sun up in the upper portion of your screen there, causing delays, almost messing with our with visibility here. This delay begins near the airport, heads all the way down toward the Commodore Barry Bridge. Let's go to the Schuylkill Expressway. A live look, little fender bender here off to the shoulder. There's your exit for Conshohocken. A slow go westbound, not only because of this accident here, but also because of the sun glare that affects us on the westbound ride home this hour. And there's also another accident. You can see it right here. That's on the eastbound side. That was the one we were
Don Rumsfeld, who served him as Chief of Staff and as Defense Secretary, and Jimmy Carter, who had that deal with him that whichever one of them died first would speak at the other's funeral.
I still don't know any better way to express it than the words I used almost exactly 30 years ago. For myself and for our nation, I want to thank my predecessor for all he did to heal our land.
Our country generally seems blessed to find the right leader at the right time. Through that special providence, the Times found Gerald Ford.
This will be a ceremony with full military honors. That, of course, means a 21-gun salute and a flag.
Ford family has requested that the final few minutes of the interment service be private. So we turn our cameras away now as the state funeral for President Gerald R. Ford comes to an end. 6 days of public services honoring our 38th president, who died the day after Christmas at the age of 93. There will be more about the final honors for Gerald Ford on your local news on this CBS station, on our website at cbsnews.com, and on tonight's CBS Evening News. Until then, for Bob Schieffer and Doug Brinkley, I'm Katie Couric.
CBS3 Eyewitness News.
You have just been watching live coverage of the funeral of President Gerald Ford. After days of memorials and remembrances, our former president has reached his final resting place. He was interred near his presidential museum in Grand Rapids, Michigan, just moments ago. We'll have more coverage for you just ahead on CBS3 Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Larry Menti.
And I'm Angela Russell. Because of coverage of President Ford's funeral, today's Dr. Phil will air at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. First on 3, a University of Penn professor is speaking out about the brutal murder of his wife in their mainline home. Dr. Raphael Robb says he had no involvement in the killing.
I'm just agitated. I prefer not to talk.
The police think you killed your wife. Did you kill your wife?
No. No.
His wife, Ellen Robb, seen here, was found beaten to death in Upper Marion December 22nd. Montgomery County's DA says so far the evidence shows she was targeted for murder.
The person that attacked Dr. Robb, or Mrs. Robb, was trying to depersonalize her. In other words, wipe her face off of the map. And in fact, he did that.
Castor says he's still waiting to talk to Professor Robb about the murder. He has not been excluded as the possible killer. Meantime, we're learning new details about a confrontation between a suspect and a sheriff's deputy that turned deadly in Berks County. The gunfire erupted in Reading, leaving the suspect dead. Now, the scene is the 1200 block of Perkiomen Avenue. More now from CBS3's Dick Standish.
A mother and father sobbed on the street where their son, who had had trouble with the law in the past, had died. 18-year-old Jorge Santini was shot to death last night in a confrontation with sheriff's deputies.
I just miss my cousin, and he was like a brother to me, and I miss him a lot.
Deputy acted appropriately.
The sheriff had outstanding warrants alleging terroristic threats and carrying an unlicensed firearm while on parole. Wearing shirts clearly showing they were sheriff's deputies, 4 officers found the young man in a car on Franklin Street. Officials tell us the team found Santini, ordered him out of his car, but he floored it right into Deputy Aaron Ogden, who bounced onto the hood.
Suspect accelerated quickly, moving the steering wheel from left to right, trying to shake our deputy off. He told him to stop.
The sheriff was constantly yelling to try to get him to stop the vehicle. Certainly he was in fear for his well-being and fear of his life. He then withdrew. He drew his weapon, and after no other recourse to do, he fired 1 shot through the windshield.
The young man was shot once in the chest. The deputy was taken on to Reading Hospital where the trauma specialist treated a serious ankle injury, but he had survived a night serving warrants in Reading. Dick Standish, CBS3 Eyewitness News.
A new state law is in effect in Delaware tonight. When you're on the road, you now have to move 1 lane over to protect emergency workers. CBS3 Delaware reporter Marge Palla has details from I-95.
Here's something to think about. In the last year, not a single state trooper was shot in the line of duty here in Delaware, but 12 of them were hurt out here on I-95 and other high-speed roadways when they were hit by passing motorists, and some of those 12 were injured badly. Somebody apparently said there ought to be a law, and now there is. Routine traffic stops can quickly turn deadly when passing motorists speed by. Last year, a Delaware state trooper nearly died after stopping to help this disabled vehicle.
The officer was walking back to his car when a vehicle came around the bend at a high rate of speed and struck the trooper's car and ultimately struck the trooper as well.
Under a new state law that took effect on the 1st, motorists will have to move over one lane to give emergency vehicles on the shoulder or on the roadway a safety zone. On smaller roads, motorists must slow down when passing the emergency vehicle to avoid hitting them. Whitmarsh himself was nearly hit while assisting a disabled tractor-trailer.
A vehicle came by, did not move over. It struck my partner's patrol car, and as I heard the impact, I turned around and had to leap on top of my patrol car to avoid being struck.
Just the rush of oncoming traffic can produce vibrations and wind gusts strong enough to knock a person over.
It might throw us off balance, throw us into the lane of travel, or even throw us against our own vehicle. So, it's a major concern for us.
This trooper, coming to the aid of the motorist in the red car, is nearly blown over by a passing truck. He, like other emergency workers, hope that drivers will voluntarily comply with the new law.
Voluntarily just slow down and or move over to help to keep us safe, to make sure that we get to go home to our families at night.
Police are hoping for voluntary compliance, but they're not counting on it. To that end, the fines start at $25 and go up with each subsequent offense. At the Christiana Area Service Center, I'm Marge Pala, CBS3 Eyewitness News.
An arrest today in connection with Saddam Hussein's execution. It stems from the controversial cell phone video that was taken during his hanging. Now, as CBS's Karen Brown reports, 2 more scheduled executions in Iraq are drawing a lot of attention.
At the grave of Saddam Hussein and across Iraq. This illicit video of the execution, taken with an apparently smuggled cell phone, continues to divide a country already mired in sectarian violence. The video shows the former Sunni dictator being taunted by Shiites in his final moments. Now the Shiite-led Iraqi government says it has arrested the guard suspected of shooting the video and claims he may have done it to purposely raise tensions.
Here at the White House, President Bush has not seen the controversial video. His administration says that the trial was fair and now it's time to look forward.
It's interesting because there seems to be a lot of concern about the last 2 minutes of Saddam Hussein's life and less about the first 69 in which he murdered hundreds of thousands of people. That's why he was executed.
U.S. officials in Iraq had handed over custody of Saddam prior to the execution.
If you're asking me, would we have done things differently?